Today on the spot, we got triple the demos with a look at Sakura Wars on the PS2, Fret Nice on the XD, and Dark Void Zero on the DS. We get fully updated with the new content this week on PlayStation Network, and Marco Martinez shows us some fresh wares for your PC. Today on the spot.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Today on the Spot. I'm your host Chris Waters here on Saturday, January 16th. Sean McInnes, it's already the third Saturday of the new year.
I know, all these Saturdays are just lost to the sands of time, but you know what? Today's the third Saturday, which means that we're gonna talk about games like we do on every other Saturday?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it's going to go. We got a show jam-packed full of games, 3 different demos, checking out PSN, checking out IGF award nominees on PC, and a whole lot more, of course. So we got a jam-packed show. You folks are going to want to stick around.
I got to apologize in advance, Chris. My mind is elsewhere. This is probably going to be my last Today on the Spot appearance. I'm going to try to get my foot in the door over at NBC, maybe try to snag that coveted 4 a.m. time slot now that they're shedding hosts all over the place.
That's a bold move, Sean.
I know. It's out with Carson Daly, in with Sean McInnes.
In with Sean McInnes, yeah. For all you insomniacs / people who wake up at an ungodly hour. Awesome. Well, we're going to miss you, but not so much that we're not going to move on with the show. And of course, as always, it's over to Tor Thorson at the news desk for the latest headlines.
Hey everybody, it's your GameSpot news update for Saturday, January 16th. I'm Tor Thorson. Well, the numbers are in and it's official. The U.S. gaming industry shrank in 2009. According to retail figures from the NPD Group, U.S. non-PC hardware, software, and accessory sales came in at $19.66 billion for the year, down 8% from the $21.4 billion the industry brought in 2008. However, keep in mind those same sales were just $7.98 billion in 2000, meaning the gaming industry has nearly doubled in popularity since then, even adjusting for inflation and the fact that games cost $60 now. The top platform for the year was the DS, selling 11.1 million units, followed by the Wii with 9.6 million units. In third was the Xbox 360 with 4.7 million units, the PlayStation 3 with 4.3 million units, the PSP with 2.5 million units, and the PlayStation 2, which sold 1.8 million units despite being over 9 years old. Nice job, Grandpa! Unsurprisingly, 2009's top game was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which sold 8.82 million units in the US on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Activision and Infinity Ward shooter is now the 4th best-selling game of all time, and NPD says 3 of the top US all-time bestsellers are Call of Duty games. Modern Warfare 2 aside, the top 10 list of the year was dominated by Wii games. In second place on the 2009 list was Wii Sports Resort, followed by New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Wii Fit Plus, Mario Kart Wii, and Wii Play. Rounding out the list was Halo 3 ODST and another Nintendo hit, Pokemon Platinum. Gotta catch them all, right? Right? That's an order, consumer. Well, that's it, your GameSpot news update for Saturday, January 16th. For more headlines, head on over to news.gamespot.com.
All right, thanks a lot, Tor. Now, folks, it's on to our first of 3 demos today. Good folks over at NIS stopped by with their new game, Sakura Wars, So Long, My Love. It's nice. What do you think of that?
I think it sounds both tight and da bomb.
You heard it here first, folks. Let's check it out right now.
Hey everyone, Sophia here. It's daily demo time, and I'm joined by 2 very special guests, Jack Nita and Now Zook from NIS America, and they're here to tell us about Sakura Wars. So welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, no problem. So Sakura Wars is like a long-running series in Japan. It's the first time it's coming to North America. So can you tell us about it?
Well, they have 5 series in Japan, and we could finally bring the last title of the series to the United States, and we're really excited about it. And the Sakura Wars has 2 modes, like adventure part and then also battle part. So we like to share both of them today.
Okay.
And the Shinjiro Tiger is the main character, and he comes to US and help all this New York City.
All right, so let's jump right in and see Shinjiro Tiger.
Okay, here we go. The way the game works is pretty simple. It's a free roaming style battle system, and you have an action meter on the bottom. It's the blue meter at the very bottom, and if you move, it spends some of the meter itself, and you could use it to do some of the attacks with it. It spins it up. If you don't want to, you could also move to the side and use it for defense as well.
And it's all turn-based, correct?
It's turn-based, yeah. So once you're done with the action, you move on to the next character. And you could actually spend all of your meter for a super move if you want to. This would use quite a bit, but it does a pretty big deal of damage to it. So it's pretty effective to fight against a lot of enemies and bosses.
And they all have their own unique special abilities.
Exactly.
So tell us a bit about these guys and why are they mechs, first of all?
Well, these characters, it's supposed to be taking place in 1920 New York, but it's sort of like this steampunk mech theme thing. And what they're doing is fighting against these like spiritual, like evil spirits, and that's what these guys are doing here. And all of them, they all have like unique powers. As you can see, this one has like multiple enemy attacks. Some of the characters could run through walls. They have like phasing, things like that. This green mech right here, she's got a gun for her weapon, so she could sort of
very cool.
Yeah, attack further.
So can you also do combos with the characters as well?
Yeah, like with the action meter on the bottom, you have about 7 gauges. The more you spend, the more combos you can use. It's just that you have to use it for moving around too. So you have to sort of figure out your strategy, like whether you want to move or attack, do combos or super move. It all depends on your situation.
All right, now let's jump ahead and take a look at the adventure mode.
Okay. So I like to talk about adventure mode, and here Shinjiro Tiger is talking to other girl, and this is what usually you get on the game as adventure mode. But then at the same time, you have to build a relationship with the female characters to have better damage to the enemy.
Okay, build up the trust.
Right. So they sometimes ask you questions, and there's a system called LIPS, Live Interactive Picture System, and you have to pick the correct or better answer to make that right, make them happy, right? So that's your job to
smooth talk your way in.
Oh yeah. So that's the fun part too. Like you're not just reading the text, you actually interact with the other character.
All right.
So,
Sounds good. All right. So when is this coming out and on what platforms?
It's coming out on March 23rd, 2010, and it'll come out on PlayStation 2 and Wii.
All right. Great. So for all you GameSpot viewers out there, you've also brought over a special gift for us.
Yes.
So you'll see on the screen there's some codes that they're giving away just for GameSpot viewers. And what do the codes do?
Well, at the title screen, you can go to the free and easy day in New York, and you can put the passcode to get the ringtone, which you can use in the game, and also photos that you can collect within the game. So you need this code to get those special, unlocked items.
Thank you guys so much for coming, and be sure to stay tuned to the end of the show because after the trivia question, we'll be giving away these Laharo printies as well as some art books that you guys will be sending out, and Dark Void Zero swag. So stay tuned for that. And now on with the show.
All right, folks. Up next, we're gonna go check out what Sony's up to this week on the PlayStation Network.
And now it's time for This Week on the PlayStation Network, your weekly update for what's new at the PlayStation Store. Get ready to call Uno, because new on the PSN this week is a demo for Uno on the PS3. The world-famous card game is a faithful reproduction for the PS3 and also features exciting new rules. With a multiplayer mode played on one PS3 system or on the PlayStation Network, Uno has never been so fun and easy, so be the first to get rid of all your cards. New on the PSP is a demo for Lunar, Silver Star Harmony. In this remake of the classic RPG Lunar, The Silver Star, explore the world of Lunar anew with updated graphics, an all-new scenario, and new music, while revising an unforgettable cast and story. Closing out with the new game add-ons, the Alice in Chains Pack 2 has arrived for Rock Band. This new pack includes hard-hitting hits like Grind, Heaven Beside You, We Die Young, Last of My Kind, and Your Decision. Jumping over to game videos, we have the White Knight Chronicles International Edition combat video. Learn more about how deep and customizable the combat system is in the much-anticipated White Knight Chronicles International Edition. Go behind the scenes of the 7th Annual Gran Turismo Awards to see the 5 finalists and find out which car GT creator Kazunori Yamauchi picked as a 2009 Best of Show Award winner to be featured in a future installment of Gran Turismo. See how the Star Ocean story began in the international debut trailer for Star Ocean, The Last Hope. And finally, go behind the scenes with developers of SOCOM US Navy SEALs Fireteam Bravo 3, Developer Diary number 2. That's all the time we have this week. For a full list of items, please check out GameSpot.com and PlayStation.com for what's new this week on the PlayStation Network.
All right, up next, it is our second demo of the day, and I'm not going to waste time talking to you about it because we got the demoer right here, Sean McInnes.
That's right. I've been checking out this new 2D platforming game called Fret Nice, where the whole deal is that you don't control it with a regular controller, although you can, that's an option, but it's designed to be played with a Guitar Hero or Rock Band guitar.
But it's a platformer?
It's a 2D platformer like Mario. You're running left, right, jumping on enemies and that sort of thing, but you're doing it with a guitar. And like
some of
shredding
this?
like just sick, vicious solos and stuff.
I expect nothing less than sick, vicious solos from you in this next demo. Let's take a look right now.
Hey everyone, Brian Eckberg and Sean McInnes here, checking out a game called Fret Nice. We're checking out the PS3 version of the game. Now, we saw this game first in Japan last year, right?
Yeah, we saw it at Tokyo Game Show. Tecmo is publishing it.
Okay.
Basically, the gist is that it's a 2D platformer with a really slick art style where you control it with a guitar.
Yeah, I noticed you don't have a traditional controller. You got a Rock Band guitar.
I've got a Rock Band 2 PlayStation 3 guitar here. It also works with Guitar Hero controllers and the other sort of like third-party guitar controllers out there.
Okay.
And it's pretty unique for that reason alone, definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and just get started right here. So the way this game controls is green button moves you left, yellow button moves you right, and then you jump either by hitting those little drum heads right there, or just by tilting the guitar like that.
Okay, a little bit of delay there. But
a little bit of a delay there. Supposedly what I heard is that the Guitar Hero controllers, this is from Tecmo, is that the Guitar Hero controllers work the best because they have sort of the
a better tilt sensitivity.
a little bit better tilt sensitivity. That's right. And
You're really like jerking the head of that guitar.
I know.
So you're strummed to climb the rope. Okay.
Yeah, you strum to climb the rope, and so there's these enemies around, and this is the real core of the game. Is that what you do is each enemy has various facial characteristics. So they'll have one eyeball, two eyeballs and a mouth, and just random assortments of that.
Okay.
And what you do is, depending on the facial characteristics they have, you have to play notes to kill them. And so the way it works is that this guy's got two eyeballs. I play two of the same notes. This guy's got an eyeball and antenna. I play two separate notes.
Okay.
It's a little confusing at first, but you pick it up pretty quickly. So
that sounds like a lot to memorize.
I know.
Does it have a tutorial, or you just sort of get used to it?
You just get used to it pretty quickly. It's a tough game to explain because it's like so unique, but it's you definitely get used to it really quickly.
Now, what are we doing here?
So these are little pads where you kind of jump up and you launch yourself around like that.
Okay.
And you can sort of like freestyle however you want. So, boom! Sorry, buddy, you just got killed.
Now, I noticed you were sort of connected to that enemy with like a pink.
Yeah, you can only attack enemies when you're in the air.
Okay.
And so you'll see like a line sort of attaching you, letting you know that you can attack that guy.
Oh, I see.
The fun part about killing the enemies is that you can kill them with any note combination that you want. So you'll see a guy with like two eyeballs and a mouth, and you can hit green twice, and then red, or you can hit blue twice, and then orange, or any combination like that. Or I've found actually that if you've got a bunch of dudes around, generally button mashing will result in dead enemies. It doesn't matter. You'll get like a points penalty. This game is all about points and getting medals at the end. But you can totally kill dudes just by mashing on buttons and just shredding in the air like you're in Shredding for Freedom.
Right. And I noticed you're picking up notes as you go. Are those for points? Or?
Yeah, those are for points. It's all about getting medals and getting like a better points total and trying to finish the level as quickly as you can. That's sort of the whole gist of this game. Now, I should say that this game also supports a regular controller, and I've been playing it for a while today, and I kind of prefer the regular controller just because all you do is you press one button to jump instead of tilting every time, which can get a little bit tiring, I will admit.
And then it sort of loses its flavor.
Yeah, it kind of loses its unique flair when you do that. The other thing about it is that it's got co-op as well, so you can play two players. Two controllers, two guitars, whatever floats your boat.
And as you were showing me before the demo began, you have some control over the look of your character.
Yeah, you can customize the look of your character. My character right now, she's actually got a 3 Wolf Moon t-shirt, which is awesome.
Yes.
I know that the kids love the 3 Wolf Moon thing. And my other favorite part about this game is that when you pause it, you get a guy with the funniest voice of all time. Here, I'll let you guys hear it.
Pounce! I like that.
That's right.
A+.
Pairs.
Can you play this game with a drum set?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
I would certainly like to try, and that actually may be the next thing that I do try.
It would make sense. I mean, you're still hitting the same buttons, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Except you can't tilt a drum set.
Right, yeah. And so this game, I played some later levels, and it's actually got bosses and stuff in there as well. And there's, it's not all just running left to right. There's, there's a bit more combat. It's got some vehicle sections in there too, and it's, it's not the most innovative platformer in the world, but it's got a cute look, and it's got an interesting control scheme that, sort of lives and dies by the sensitivity of the tilt on your guitar. But it's pretty interesting. All right, definitely, and
coming out soon, right?
It's coming out soon. It's coming out on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Marketplace next month.
All right, well, thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. That is your look at Fret Nice. Now back to the rest of the show.
All right, so that's your look at me attempting to move a little animated character around with sweet, sweet guitar solos. Now, Chris, what we're going to do now is check out what's new on the PC with Marco. This episode is all about IGF Award nominees.
That's right. Those awards are coming up right around the corner. Independent Games Festival. Should be some pretty cool stuff in there.
There is some cool stuff. One of them is a game called Pixel Force Left 4 Dead, which is like a top-down, old-school, like zombie survival shooter, and it's called an NES demake because it's basically like a modern game but sort of like retrofitted for the NES.
Yeah, they got like little 8-bit Lewis and Bill and like the boomer spits puke at you. It's pretty cool looking. The one Marco was telling me about is called Autumn Dynasty, which is basically an RTS game, but the trick is you set your unit movement paths with like calligraphy. You use a brush stroke, and it's got this sort of Asian influenced art style. Pretty cool. I saw him playing it the other day.
Yeah.
All that and more this week on PC. Let's take a look at it right now.
This week on PC, we take a look at 3 student entries to this year's IGF student competition: Autumn Dynasty, Cut and Paste, and Rocket Birds. Then we have the retro Nintendo demake of Left 4 Dead 2. And as always, we have the latest patches of the week. Autumn Dynasty is a real-time strategy game set in war-torn old China. Use a calligraphy paintbrush to order units around the battlefield, hiding them in forests to surprise your enemies, or around a mountain pass to outflank them. The art style is that out of a 221 BC Chinese painting, where everything is drawn in black or colored ink. The game is in its early build, which leaves the gameplay simple but unbalanced, and only limited to AI skirmishes. With future releases, we see a lot of potential for a unique and fun RTS. Cut and Paste is an experimental game that uses a flipbook animation style to navigate throughout a 2D world. As you enter and move throughout this flipbook world, you'll encounter objects that you can cut out and paste at a later time. The points in when you choose to use these objects affect the story and will change the outcome every time you play. You can also manipulate time, since it is a flipbook, to get the objects to work a certain way. This game is short, but there's a potential for a long and gratifying game. Rocket Birds Revolution is a 2D action puzzler where you play as a hard-boiled chicken sent out to lead a rebellion against penguin oppressors that have control over a territory called Albatropolis. You control the hero with your keyboard arrow keys and shoot with the Shift and Z keys. The gameplay is simple and fun, and switching weapons is quick and effective when up against multiple enemies. The art style is beautiful, using the shadow element as a visual and gameplay effect. There is a demo to try out the first chapter, and an option to buy the full game once you finish playing the demo. This game is up for the IGF Seamus McNally Grand Prize, and it's sure to be a top candidate to win. If you couldn't get enough of Left 4 Dead 2, then look no further for this retro Nintendo demake Pixel Force Left 4 Dead 2. The art style is that out of an NES 2D pixelized game. The soundtrack mimics familiar sounding games of the era, but stays true to the eerie Left 4 Dead atmosphere. You can choose one of 4 characters featured in Left 4 Dead 2, and or play co-op with a friend on the same keyboard. Your weapon and enemy choices are limited, but as you progress through the one and only level, they become stronger and powerful. There are save points going against the no save point formula of the NES era, but they are far and few between, leaving you to stock up on ammo and running for your life. And last but not least, we have your patches of the week. FIFA Manager has been updated to version 2.0.05 and includes new features and bug fixes. Blood Bowl has been updated to version 1.1.3.3, which includes new sidestep mechanism. For all the details to these patches and more, read the README files that come along with the download. I'm Marco Martinez, and that's it for This Week on PC.
All right, thanks, Marco. And folks, don't forget, if any of those games look good to you, you can download them for free on GameSpot.com. Just go to the Downloads tab right on the homepage. They're all there laid out for you, and they're pretty cool. Up next, our third and final demo of the day. Sean, tell the good people all about it.
All right, so we were talking about NES D-Makes just a second ago.
True.
With Pixel Force Left 4 Dead. Oddly enough, that's not the only NES D-Make that we've got on the show today. There's a game come out for DSiWare called Dark Void Zero. It's sort of a tie-in to the new Dark Void game, which is been retrofitted back to NES style for the DS. Let's check that out right now. All right, thanks, me, I guess. Now, right now we're gonna check out Dark Void Zero. I am joined by Mike Micah, Head of Development from Other Ocean. Mike, how you doing?
Doing really good. Happy to be here, Sean.
All right, excellent, good to hear. So, obviously Capcom has Dark Void coming out next week. It's a really big title for them, very highly anticipated, but it's not the only Dark Void coming out in the near future. What's up with Dark Void Zero?
So, it was kind of interesting because when the game started getting a lot of buzz out there and they started to show it, a lot of people didn't realize, and I didn't realize, that there was actually a game that was developed way back in 1987 within Capcom. And Airtight actually based this game off something that they'd found some materials on that it got canceled probably when the Super Nintendo was coming out.
Okay.
The game was actually fantastic, and everything we found about the game, what people would say about the game within Capcom, sounded like it was the most brilliant game that just never came out.
And now it is being it's going to finally see the light of day on DSiWare?
Yes, it's finally come out on DSiWare, and a lot of people are like, why DSiWare? What's the fit? But the reality is the game was developed on some old Nintendo hardware.
Okay.
Something called the PlayChoice 10, which was like an arcade cabinet that actually had two screens. So it was one of these things where it kind of made sense. We should come out on DSi because of the two screens, but also it had some special hardware inside each cartridge to allow it to operate and put special things on each screen that you couldn't do on a normal NES.
Nice. Well, we've actually got the game here, so let's get it started right now.
right.
It actually starts in a very clever way, sort of nod to the history of the game, right?
Yeah, anybody who had an NES probably in the day realizes that you couldn't even get that thing started without blowing on the cartridge, so here we go.
All right. Very clever implementation of the microphone on there. Dark Void Zero, how does it play exactly?
Well, if you're familiar with a lot of the old NES games, particularly like Bionic Commando or Section Z, we're surprised to find out the game actually plays a lot like that. And I guess a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of the designers on those games were working on this game at the time. If you're also familiar with the mechanic of like the Bionic Commando Tread Anywhere or Metroid, this plays a lot like that. Now, one good thing to know about this though is that what we had to do to get this game onto DSiWare was actually salvage an old ROM that we had to track it down. It took us forever to find this ROM, and honestly, back then nobody had source control. Nobody had any way of preserving this stuff. The code was supposedly on a magnetic tape.
It was the Wild West
exist
back
anymore.
then.
So we found pieces of this game. We had to reconstruct the parts that were not complete. So what you're actually playing here is the best we could do to restore this classic game.
Okay. So Capcom is sort of known for their hard-as-nails NES games. I know Mega Man was always tough for a lot of people. How's the difficulty in Dark Void Zero?
So when we first fired this game up, we actually saw it running and started to play it. We realized that this was probably one of Capcom's hardest games.
Oh, really? That's saying a lot.
So as we're going through and learning the code and disassembling the game itself, we actually would go through and try to make the areas easier. So the hard skill level that's in this game is the original skill level of the game, which only had one skill level at the time. So these two additional skill levels that we put in here were just to make it easier for people now. I guess a lot of the old school gamers are just better gamers back then.
Now the Rocket Pack is a big part of Dark Void Zero. Is that, or a big part of the regular Dark Void? How does that figure into Dark Void Zero, where it's much more two-dimensional?
Yeah, so this is something that if it had come out in the day would have been pretty landmark because it actually supports traditional platforming plus the Section Z style flying combat. So it's if you play around with it and when you get the game, like you'll realize that the flying is essential in this game. And in fact, you probably will find yourself more and more not going into the more platforming mode.
All right. Well, Dark Void Zero looks very cool. We don't want to give away everything because once people actually watch the game, they'll know how to beat the game. That takes all the fun out of it. So we'll go ahead and stop here. Mike, before I let you go, I've got to find out some release information from you. When is it going to be out? Is it DSi specific and all that good stuff?
So it's coming out this Monday, and it's going to be 500 points. Capcom really just wants people to experience this game as they intended many years ago. So 20 years later, we finally get to play it.
All right, Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so you guys make sure to stick around, watch the rest of the show because we're going to be giving away plenty of Dark Void goodies. We've got some retail copies of the game on all three platforms, PS3, 360, PC. Got some action figures, multiple types of action figures, and a little art guide here with the whole history and how-to information in Dark Void. So a lot of good stuff, so make sure you check out our trivia section coming right up. So back with the rest of the show.
And that completes our demo hat trick for today. Up top.
That is a lot of demos.
Yeah. And now it's on to trivia. Today we're giving away a Laharl Prinny and from the old NIS universe. And if you liked our demo for Sakura Wars, keep tuned to later shows where we're gonna have a whole boatload of stuff coming in. We got art books, we got all sorts of good stuff coming in Sakura Wars themed. But today, it's a Laharl Prinny, and Sean's got the question for you.
That's right, Chris, but the Prinny isn't the only giveaway we've got on today's show. We've also got some Dark Void goodies set to throw your way. So the first question I've got for you is Capcom related. Who won the 1987 Commando High Score Championship for the chance to fly out to Japan to be in Capcom's next big game? Do you think you know the answer? Use the trivia module on the page or send a guess to onthespot@gamespot.com. Again, who won Capcom's 1987 Commando High Score Championship for the chance to be in their next big game? Throw an answer our way and you can win some Dark Void swag. So that's trivia question 1 of 2. The second trivia question I've got for you is NIS related, and that question is this. Which part of Japan is Subaru from? You think you know? Use the same technique on the spot at GameSpot.com or the trivia module on the page here. Again, which part of Japan is Subaru from? Chris, any guesses?
What? I was thinking just, how something can be evil and explosive, but so adorable.
I know, that's exactly what a Prinny is.
It's true. Dude, this was quite a show. We got a lot in here.
I know, it was a hat trick of demos. So much stuff to see. I am all tuckered out.
It's gonna tide you over.
Before we go, I've got some good news. The whole NBC thing fell through. Turns out they don't like my brand of humor.
No?
Couldn't
sell them on it, could you?
Turns out Leno's not a fan of me. I accidentally, punched him in the mouth when I saw him.
You do have that problem, don't you?
So good news. You get to stick with me for a while.
Super.
Yeah.
And he hasn't punched me in the mouth yet. So that bodes well for the future. Folks, we're not going to be back on Tuesday. We'll be off celebrating the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, as I hope you will be. And we'll be back on Thursday with a whole new suite of awesome gaming goodness. Will we go for a hat trick? I don't know. Tune in to find out. See you on Thursday, folks. For everyone here at GameSpot, I'm Chris Waters.
And I'm Sean McGinnis.
Everybody have a great weekend. Everybody. All y'all. Hey everybody, welcome to Today on the Spot. It's Saturday, January something or other. I'm your host, Chris Waters, and this is Sean McGinnis.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean McGinnis. Today is actually Saturday, January, I don't know either.
And that completes our demo hat trick for today. Up top. The